guys, and welcome to Matt's Beamer. Today I'm going to show you around my friend's 2019 Kia Sorento Prime 2.2 Crdi. If you would like to see other in-depth tours on my channel, please comment down below on what kind of car you would like to see. And remember to hit that subscribe button. Anyway, Kia has had the Sorento name in the family tree since 2002. It was back when Kia wasn't cutting it with the European brands. They were quite dull and very low budget. But, oh wow, how have things changed with this new one? I do like the new Kias these days, a lot. This Sorento, which the Russians call the Sorento Prime, is the third generation, codename which has been in production since 2014. The original Mark I is known as the BL, which had a few facelifts between 2002 and 2009, and I also believe there is a Chinese variant still being made now. The second generation was known as the XM, built between 2009 and 2014, but in Russia they made them from 2013 up to 2017. This version was sold alongside the one I am filming today, which is why the Russian market called the Sorento Prime, so you knew that you were ordering the later model. This version of Sorento was replaced by the current Sorento, known as the MQ4, aka the fourth generation. I will ask my local dealership if I can film one of theirs. If you want to see a review of the new Sorento, my good friends at Planet Auto will be reviewing one soon. I'll add a link down below when they film it, so keep your eyes peeled. But let's focus on this Mark III, the UM. This facelifted UM is finished in the beautiful colour called Snow White Pearl or Pearlescent. The car was cleaned a few days ago, but it gets so dirty quick here. Let's start at the front of the car. As usual, we are greeted with a brand logo. It is placed centrally on this very classy looking upgraded grille with chrome highlights. The standard grille is in black. Under the badge is a hidden camera which assists with the parking. I think these lights on the facelifted model are quite good looking. They are LEDs and they feature AFS, which is an adaptive front lighting system which changes direction with the steering wheel, but also controls the distribution of light, saving you blind in the oncoming traffic. These lights are cleaned with headlight washers. As you can see, this car has 4 ultrasonic sensors up front, which also helps with the car's parking. Here is where the towing eye is. Just here, inside the black vents, we have some cool looking LED fog lights, which kinda give me that Porsche vibe for some reason. Here we have the usual kind of stuff, like with most cars, black vents. Along the bottom of the front bumper, we have alloy coloured trim. Working back towards the rear of the bonnet, we have the hidden wiper blades with their jet washers. Being hidden helps with the car's aerodynamics. This car has a coefficient drag of 0.33. I think, but I'm not certain, but I think this car here may have the acoustic windscreen, which helps make the interior quieter. A quick look through the windscreen, you will notice that this car here has heads-up display, which is so cool. On all the rear arches, you have the black plastic trim and mud flaps, which gives the car a rugged look. The alloys of this car are the optional 19-inch 5 spokes, wrapped in some 235/55 R19 Yokohama winter tyres with studs. The front discs are vented, and the front suspension is a McPherson setup. The door mirrors on this car are half colour-coded. The lower half has a glossy black plastic trim. The mirrors are also electronically adjustable and folding, as well as self-dimming, heated, and have the cool blind spot detector built in. The mirrors also have built-in indicators. Underneath the mirror itself, there is another camera which helps with the car's 360-degree parking feature, which gives you a bird's-eye view of this car. The trim around the windows are finished in chrome, Also, there is a lot of black gloss trim, which gives it an upmarket look. The door handles on this car are finished in chrome. Some cars have colour-coded handles. The handles up front have a keyhole and a black button which assists with the keyless entry. Also, there is a little light behind the door handle which illuminates where the handle is. Just down here you have the little AWD badge which lets you know that this car has the Dynamax all-wheel drive system. Here is the fuel door to gain access to the 71 litre tank. To release the flap, push the button on the interior or the button on the key fob. They say that this car here is supposed to get about 42.2 to 46.3 miles per gallon, but they say in the real world you get about 32.5 miles per gallon average. If you have one of these cars, what do you get? The rear wheels on this car are the same size as the front, but the discs are solid and the rear suspension is a multi-link setup. As you would expect from this car, it has ABS. Let's have a look at the back of the car. There is a shark fin aerial on top of the roof, which is very BMW in my opinion. Moving on down, we have a spoiler, which has the third brake light. The rear heated window on this car has tinted glass and a rear wiper. Sitting centrally, we have the large Kia logo. The rear LED taillights in this car are very large and also very stylish, as you would expect. To the left, you have the Sorento badge, along with the extra Prime logo. To the right, you have the CRDI badge, which stands for Common Rail Direct Injection. Under the Kia logo, we have the rear number plate lights and the rear boot release. And also, there is a camera which assists you when parking. As you can see, this car also has 4 rear ultrasonic sensors which help when parking, but also with the RCCW, which stands for Rear Cross Traffic Collision Warning. Basically, when you reverse out of a parking space, this car here is keeping an extra eye out for you by warning you if there is someone coming. Here are the rear fog lights. This is where the rear towing eye is hidden. You will notice that there is more black plastic trim, but along the bottom edge there is silver coloured plastic. This car has a single oval exhaust pipe, which looks quite nice to be honest. Under the rear of the car is a spare wheel. Oh, and before I forget, this car has a massive electric panorama sunroof, which really gives the interior a light, airy feel, even though it has tinted windows. This car has silver coloured roof rails. Let us talk about the size. It is 4,800mm long, 1,890mm wide, 1,685mm tall without the roof rack, and it has a ground clearance of 185mm. Due to the size of this car, it weighs 2,032 kilograms, which is just over 2 tonnes. This makes it bigger than the current BMW G01 X3, but rides a little bit lower. Let us have a look at the key. It has 3 buttons: lock, unlock, and boot release. If you flip the key over, you will see the Kia badge, and you will see a little silver button, which if you push in, it will allow you to remove the key blade inside. You will also notice when pushing the buttons that the car will chirp, like a sci-fi chick. Let's jump into the front of the car, starting with the driver's side. The doors open quite wide, which allows you to gain access with ease. As you climb into the car, you will be surprised how lovely it is inside. It's comfortable, good looking, and the materials feel great. I was surprised with how much technology this car has. Starting with the top of the soft touch dash, it has windscreen vents right at the back, which you can't actually see. In the centre is a big massive speaker, which is part of the Harman Kardon sound system. There are also two sensors. One works with the auto aircon and the other is for the auto lighting. I like this stitching effect on the dash, which makes it look like it's stitched leather. Moving on down, you will see that there is some black gloss trim with brushed alloy highlights, which I like. Along the front edge of the dash are 4 air vents, one at both ends, and the central 2 are located both sides of the infotainment screen. They all have a scroll wheel to open and close each vent, and you can adjust the direction of flow with the knob in the middle. Around the black plastic vents, you will see aluminium coloured plastic. I will come back to this top of the range 8-inch Harman Kardon infotainment system soon. Just here we have a nicely located start-stop button. Moving on down, we have the dual separate climate control system. To the left hand side, we have the wheel that adjusts the driver's temperature, which is displayed on the black and orange screen in the centre. If you push this wheel inwards, it will turn on the automatic air conditioning mode. On the right hand side, we have the passenger's wheel for adjusting the temperature for the passenger. If the sync light is on, it means both driver and passenger will have the same temperature on the display. The AC button turns on the air conditioning. Just below that is the off button, which completely turns off the air vents. The little screen in the centre displays the temperature for each side and the fan speed. This button here allows you to turn the air conditioning off in the rear. This car also has a button for allowing you to recirculate the air inside the interior. Moving down the row, we have the button for the heated front window and the rear window. These two buttons are for adjusting the fan speed. This little button here controls the zone control. This little grille just in here is for reading the interior's temperature and telling the auto air conditioning what to do. Oh, before I forget, here is the car's hazard switch, which produces a lovely relaxing tone. Moving down another row of buttons, you will see that the 2 outer buttons are for controlling the seat's cooling system. Moving in a button on each side, we have the 3-stage heating. The button in the middle is for turning on and off the steering wheel's heated system. A heated steering wheel is lovely in Russia. Moving down even more, we have a storage area with a gloss black door. Inside is great though. It has 2 12-volt power sockets, as well as an auxiliary port and a USB port. This car also has wireless charging for charging your mobile phone if your phone has this feature, which my one doesn't. Just here we have a slide back panel which has 2 adjustable cup holders, but they can't adjust small enough if you have a can of energy drink. You know the ones, the one that gives you wings. This one here comes with an ashtray which fits into the gap nicely. This Sorento has the newer 8-speed Kia automatic transmission. Sticking the car into reverse brings up the reverse camera, which you can see briefly. You can see the steering wheel input, as well as the bird's eye view looking down on top of the car. I really like this feature. If you put the car into drive, you can tap the lever to the side, which puts the car into manual mode. Push forward and backwards to change gear. This car also has shift lock reliefs. Just back here, you have a drive mode button. This changes the way the car drives. You have Comfort, Eco, Sport and Smart. This button here puts your car's all-wheel drive into lock mode. These 3 buttons on the right are to do with the parking. The top one turns on and off the sensors. The middle one is for when you want the car to park itself. And the bottom one controls the parking cameras. This car has an electronic handbrake with auto hold. Some cars, I think, have a normal handbrake, and I believe that some cars also have the foot engaged handbrake. The central armrest doubles up as a storage compartment with a tray which you can adjust. Just in front of that storage compartment is another little storage compartment, ideal for keeping your electric shaver. I'm just going to turn on the ignition quickly. I do like the little startup screen's intro on the instrument panel. To the left, you have the rev counter. In the centre, you have the speedo and a cool display with many menus. To the right hand side, you have a coolant temperature, and just below the coolant temperature, you have the fuel gauge. This car has electronic power steering, and as you can see, it has a lovely steering wheel with many buttons. To the left hand side, you have the voice activation, the source mode, the volume, mute, and seek buttons. The bottom two are for controlling your telephone if it is connected through the car's Bluetooth. On the right hand side of the steering wheel, you have a button which controls the display, the one that's located in between the speedo, and the speed settings, for example cruise control. The central display displays things such as a compass, tyre pressure, oil level, vehicle settings, and the car's onboard computer menu. There is so much this can do, which I haven't covered. The stalk on the left hand side controls the lights, including the auto headlights, and indicators. The right hand stalk controls the wipers, which also includes auto wipers. To the left of the steering wheel, we have three large buttons. The button on the left controls the brightness of the dashboard lights. The central one turns on and off the car's blind spot protection feature, while the one on the right hand side turns on and off the car's electronic stability control. Below these three buttons, we have the fuel cap release and the boot release. Moving on down even further, we have the fuse box and the bonnet release. Now, here is a very brief look at the Harman Kardon 8-inch display with Bluetooth. As you can see, it is a touchscreen, but it also has shortcut buttons on either side. Radio puts the screen into radio mode. Media would work if the Bluetooth was connected, or the USB. These two here allow you to seek the track or radio station. Map displays the wonderful map in a nice format. Nav turns the multimedia system into a sat-nav, allowing you to type in addresses, etc. This star here, when pressed, tried connecting to my phone's Bluetooth, which I had to quickly abandon. When you push the car's setting button, you have so many options, which you will see on the screen now. I really wanted to go into so much detail, but I only had just over 3 hours to film this car. This system in general was very easy to use. It also has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. There is also a space up top for putting in an SD map card. On the steering column, you have a lever which, if you loosen, allows you to adjust the steering wheel up and down and forwards and backwards, so it's easy to get into a comfortable position. Let's quickly look at the driver's door, which I shall quickly open. Next to the door handle, you have the buttons for the electric memory seats. 2 people can say their positions. The materials on this door are soft touch near the top. I also like the two-tone colour. I also like the black plastic inserts with satin silver borders. On the armrests, we have many buttons. Furthest forward, we have the folded mirror switch. L and R, which mean left and right, are for you to be able to choose which mirror you want to adjust. The D-pad just here is for adjusting your mirrors. Moving down a bit more, we have the central locking button and the switch which cuts off the power to the rear windows. All 4 windows are auto up and down. The door also has large Harman Kardon speakers next to the storage pocket. This red light here is to warn people that your door is open at night time. What is also very useful is that the bottom of the doors cover the door sill, which stops you getting dirty trousers when climbing out of the vehicle. Down on a door sill, you will see the Sorento badge, which I think lights up at night. The seats in this car are lovely and very comfortable. They are finished in mahogany leather. As well as being heated, they cool you down too by using a special ventilation system. The driver has a lot more adjustment than the passenger, such as a cushion extension, forward and backwards adjustment. You can also adjust the height of the seat base. The backrest reclines as well as having a four-way lumbar support. Here are the sporty lightweight stainless steel pedals with rubber grips. Under the front two seats are subwoofers. Now I need to quickly go over to my phone and film this part here, as it's dark. As you can see, these are the car's front interior lights, including reading lamps. In the centre is the button for controlling the car's panoramic sunroof. So this car has the emergency assist buttons. Here is the sunglasses storage compartment. This rear view mirror also has auto dimming. The rear visors have a card holder, side extensions and a light. Oh, and also a mirror so you can see your face. Now let's quickly jump into the passenger's side. The doors are very similar, though the only switch you get is for your own window. The passenger seat also gets less adjustment. You don't get the thigh support cushion. Here is the lockable glove box, which is a nice size, but the issue is it is taken up by the large user manual. Let's jump into the rear. The doors on the rear also open wide, which helps you with easy access to the back. The rear door has a button for the two-stage rear heated seats, as well as your own electric window button. As well as a comfortable outer armrest, there is a speaker and a storage compartment. Oh, and here is the child lock. One thing I like about the rear door is they have a built-in sunshade which pulls out, just as I'm showing you here. Nice and simple compared to the ones on the top of the range German cars, which may break quite easily. In between the two front seats we have some air vents, and in between the vents we have a switch that controls the airflow into the back. Below the air vents we have a 12-volt power socket and a USB one. Behind the front seats we have netted storage pockets, which are great, but the disadvantage is you can see what's inside them, which I don't like. The two outer seats on the rear have ISOFIX points, which all cars should have these days. Pulling down the central armrest, we have two cup holders. Sitting behind the passenger seat, you will notice that there is plenty of leg room and headroom. Cars which don't have the panoramic sunroof have more headroom. There is a lever just here which allows you to adjust the angle of the rear seat's backrest. This lever here allows you to fold down the second row of seats with ease. On the side, opposite to the driver's seat, there is a lever on top of the rear seat to help you gain access to the third row of seats. I was able to get into the back quite easily, considering my size and unathletic build. The headroom in the third row was quite good, but for me it was quite uncomfortable, mainly due to me being, well, not an average size. I believe normal adults would fit in the back with ease, but for me it was not great. Sorry I couldn't film it for you. In the third row you also get some storage, a cup holder and air vents. On one side you get a fan speed adjuster, and also you can turn the fans on and off. Also in the rear are some speakers. Heading around to the rear, let's go and open the rear hatch, boot or trunk, whichever you want to call it. I will hold down the boot release button on the key to open it. You can also use the button on the hatch and on the interior, and I think on some cars it will open if you stand close to the boot for longer than 3 seconds, as long as you have a key in your pocket or something. You can fold down the third row of seats easily by pulling the strap here. This creates 1,077 litres of space. The second row can be folded down easily by pulling this lever here. The seats fall over like a drunk person in the pub, which is great because sometimes I struggle with the rear seats due to my bad back. The second row of seats fold in a 40-20-40 ratio. When folded, it creates 2,066 litres of space. The middle seat can be folded down by pushing this little tab here, just like this. Ideal if you have 4 people in the car and you want the middle seat to be folded down to fit in something like, I don't know, maybe a broomstick. With all 7 seats up though, the boot space is quite small. Under the floor just here, you get some tools, and this is also a place where you can store the cargo cover. Good thinking, Kia. Let's close the boot and head around to the bonnet and start the car up. After you've heard the car running, I'll give you some information. The UM came with both petrol and diesel variants. The 4-cylinder engine petrols were available in 2 litre or 2.4, while the V6s were available in a 3.3 or a 3.5. The diesels both came in 4-cylinder form in 2 litre and 2.2. And I believe somewhere on this planet they also made 1.6 hybrids too. When it comes to the transmissions, the newer cars had an 8-speed automatic transmission, while the older ones had a 6-speed auto. Some people also liked opting for a manual 6-speed. This car here though has the larger 2.2 litre 4-pot diesel engine, which means it has 2,199cc. It has 200 horsepower, which helps this car get from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 8.9 seconds. It also sends 440 Newton meters of torque to all 4 wheels and tops out at 127 miles per hour. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And also, what other cars would you like to see on my channel? Thank you, and I hope this video was good for you. Take care. Goodbye.